All right. I can't believe people are here. That's I don't know why. It's very well for Mark. It's probably really late. For me, it's I imagine for some of us it's early. I'm gonna stop trying to think about time zones because that's too timey wimey for me right now. Um, I've been up since 6, but that's not Yeah. All right. So hugs back to Critical Cripple. One ring. Yeah. We need to roll some dice again, my friend. I miss it. Mark, I'm sorry, I forgot. Oh, I wish you were at my front door. We could hang out, have some mimosas. That'd be amazing. Yeah, and yes, Mark, you are always worth a mention. I'm sorry, I forgot. Sandy, hey, good to see you as always. Am I missing anyone else? Because I don't want to do that. Yeah, it would be bad. No, okay. Got everybody. All right. Well, here's the thing. Um, Yeah, as y'all know, I've produced, I mean, almost no content in the last year and a half. I could probably count on one hand how much I've done, and it's because it's for several reasons, but mainly because the job that I took after being laid off for so long. I started this whole thing, while I was laid off and had nothing but time and was desperate to I don't know do anything. And hey, Cadence. Oh, bad dragon dice to use. Nice. Oh, that sounds like fun. Um, yeah, Junk Shop recently got me a present. It's a very large, solid. Well, I don't know if it's solid brass, but it's very heavy, and it's definitely brass on the outside. Uh, D20, but all of the it's you all of the um, faces are 20s. So it's totally a novelty die. You couldn't play with it, but it's so much fun. And when you open the box embossed inside the box, it says, "May all of your rolls be critical." That's just fantastic. Um, okay, so sorry. Nerd thing aside, D&D thing aside. We say nerd thing like we're apologizing. I'm not apologizing. I've been a proud geek and nerd since younger than high school. So fuck apologizing for it. All right. So point is, my job is really demanding. It takes all of my creativity. In fact, and I didn't know. Mark, critical. Feel free to chime in on this. Let me know if this is something that happens. And y'all here in the states, let me know what if this is something that's ever happened to you. Um, my manager changed my title, and it was a good change. Like I can ostensibly eventually I will make more money because of this title change, and I like money. I like being able to pay bills and things, so that's nice. Yeah, thank you, Sandy. So yeah, money is good and necessary to live, at least right now, and well. Uh, But my boss changed my title without even asking me about it. So that was kind of weird. Has that ever happened to anyone? It's fun though. It's interesting. I'm having to learn an entirely, kind of an entirely new skill set. Nevermore. Hey, I'm cooking breakfast, but am listening. Oh, that's awesome. Enjoy your breakfast. If you get a chance, let me know what you're cooking. Um, God, mainly because I'm hungry. It has happened to you, Sandy. Okay, so that's just a thing that happens. All right. You've been informed you're taking on new roles. Okay. I wonder if that's corporate speak for responsibilities. And are you going to get paid for those? um, but no, it is. I mean, it's good. It's not. I don't want to. I don't want to stall out. I don't want to not learn new things. I just never thought that this was something I'd be doing. Yeah, pretty much, it is corporate speak. Okay, so just so anyone watching this later, Critical Cripple said, I've been informed I'm taking on new roles. And I asked, is that corporate speak for, does that mean more responsibilities? And pretty much, yeah. So, and no thanks. That's what they try and slide past. Oh, and no, that's what they try to slide past. Okay, got you. So they weren't going to pay you more for that either. That's fun. It's a bait and switch in a way, says Sandy. Yeah, fair. It absolutely is. Oh wow. Sorry, Sandy. Now that your avatar is nice and big, it's gorgeous. That's some pretty Celtic knot work there. Say Celtic knot work 5 times fast. I love that. Okay. Yeah, so job's a lot. You all get it. Blah, blah, blah. I'm not complaining, by the way. I like the job. I'm happy I have the job. The job comes with amazing health insurance. For those of you who live in sensible countries, that's a good thing for us in the U.S. Okay. Oh, One Ring says, doesn't say, that was me. Closest I have is in the military when I was promoted before I expected it. Oh, that's cool. That's probably because you're brilliant. But yeah. And, oh, it's part of the tree panel, says Sandy. Okay, cool. Anyway, sorry, I keep getting distracted. I'm not. Yesterday, I was off work for the first time ever for this particular new federal holiday. It was only enacted last year, and my company. And this is a weird thing too, is that bank holidays, like we have that thing, we have the bank holidays in the U.S. Critical, you have them in the U.K. We tend to call them like federal holidays. You don't necessarily automatically get those holidays off. It depends on where you work and what you do. If you work in retail, for example, you're never going to get a federal holiday off unless you ask ahead of time. And in fact, if you want to make more money, you want to work on those days, because the only cool thing about working on federal holidays, if you are an hourly employee, is they have to pay you time and a half. So that's nice. Hey, Sam. Okay, more about changing titles at work without being asked or told about it. Sandy says, once they changed my title from a higher level to a lower level and expected the same work for the same pay. That irked me. Yeah, that would irk the fuck out of me too. That happened shortly before I told them to take their job and shove it. Yep, and now we all have that song in our head. But that's fantastic. That's horrible. Not fantastic. I'm sorry. I was laughing at the song that's in my head now, not at what happened to you, Sandy. But yeah, fuck that. Good for you getting out of there. Yeah. Hey, Sam. It's so good to see you. I miss virtually killing D&D monsters with you. Anyway, okay, so yeah, the job's taking a lot. There's a lot of personal stuff going on. JSL and I are fine. It has nothing. No, we are. Oh my gosh, like they're my rock. I don't know what the fuck I would do without them. Yeah, I was kind of holding off on the F-bombs for a minute because Hang on, got to share this. Oh, hash browns with scrambled eggs. Time to dig in. Yes, it is Nevermore. That sounds amazing. Yeah, that's exactly what. Okay, I laughed at them as I left. That's great, Sandy. And yeah, that's exactly what's happened to me in this situation. Is same job, higher job title, same pay. Yeah, I'm a year and a half in. Uh, I'm hoping to get a raise by year 2, and if I don't, then who knows? But I probably shouldn't say stuff like that online. Yeah. Okay, so I just yeah, there's been a lot of family of origin shit going down. I'm not sure. For the first time in my life, I might not show up for Father's Day tomorrow. And the part of me that was absolutely indoctrinated to feel horribly guilty about, oh, I don't know, everything, feels horribly guilty about this as well. But I, the last time Junk Shop and I were at my parents' house, I don't even know if I should tell this story because it vilifies my dad so much. I'm gonna edit this, okay? I'm just gonna say that he said something that a lot, and my dad, unfortunately, and my mother both, even in her dementia, have both been taken in by Fox News very hard. They've always been Republicans, but like my dad took me to my first peaceful demonstration. He he was the person who he and my mother both actually were people who quite literally taught me empathy. You know, when you're a kid, you can have such black and white morality, and I would make these, you know, sweeping, broad generalizations about what was right and what was wrong, and my father would say, you know, well, I didn't grow up in a traditional family. My mother was a single mama, and we did just fine, thank you very much. I mean, things were hard economically, but we were loved and we were okay because she worked her ass off. So don't you say, don't just parrot what your teacher says when your teacher says that all of our social problems can be boiled down to the breakdown of the American family. And what does that even mean? I mean, this was a conversation we had, and he was right. He was absolutely right. I mean, we know now that, you know, families come in all kinds of forms. You know, I consider some of my friends online to be family, and some of y'all are people I've never met in person. Um, so yeah, it's a weird. Dr. Osiris, hey, yeah, it's been a long time. Yeah, I okay, so anyway, so like I said, they've changed a lot. They were great when I was growing up for the most part. I mean, I had to hide, or I didn't have to, but I chose to hide religious differences with them for a long time. But then, you know, when I came out to them as non-Christian a couple of times. Once when I was 19, once when I was like 21. It was like they just wouldn't hear me on it, and they just kind of put it, I don't know, put it on a shelf somewhere in their heads and didn't think about it again. And then I came out to them as bisexual when I was 23. I don't know if they remember this or not. I've told this story online before, and it's terrifying. It was, I mean, it's not, the story isn't terrifying. It was a terrifying moment for me as a young woman. Anyway, trying to stick to the point. So on Mother's Day, my dad said something in kind of a joking way, but it was something that some right wing preachers are actually preaching to their congregants right now, and it's horrific. It's it's absolutely horrific. And in the moment, I didn't know how to respond, so I just took it to a historical place. And I said, "Well, Dad, you know, someone already tried that in this country at this time. You know, the Holy Inquisition tried that in the Middle Ages. It just doesn't work that way, and it's murder. It's wrong." So anyway, if you keep up with what crazy white wing preachers say, and you can connect some dots from me talking about my coming out story to my parents, you've probably figured out what it is that my dad said. And I guess he just forgot that I was in the group of people that some of these insane, in my opinion, and look, I shouldn't say insane. That sounds weird. I've got, hey, y'all know I'm not shy about it. I'm bipolar. I have anxiety disorders, got some PTSD that I need to work through with a therapist. I will do that. But he basically said that, he said it kind of half jokingly, but he said it more than once. And once was too much. That maybe we should just, I don't know who we is because I wouldn't be a part of this, but maybe we should just, I don't know, execute all queer people. And again, I don't know if he forgot, but he said this to his daughter and her spouse, who are both queer. Now, Junk Shop, isn't out to the older generations in our family, and that's fine because we don't even know how do you explain to somebody pushing 80 with dementia what non-binary is. Somebody born in 1942 who graduated high school in 1960. It may, yeah, oof. Thank you, wondering. Yeah, it was a big oof. So yeah, I tried to, the intellectualism, is that an ism? I don't know. Speaking about things in historical context and in terms of history is kind of my it's a defense mechanism. It's how I separate myself from a moment. The big thing I noticed is that Junk Shop just went silent and didn't say another word except for goodbye when it was time to leave. And since Junk Shop is not, since I come from very loud, outgoing people, they didn't really notice that Junk Shop wasn't saying anything because Junk Shop often doesn't say anything for a long time. So thank you, Sandy. Yeah, I don't even know where to go with that. And then the other thing that happened was I went into the family chat and it's always, hey, pray for this person who's sick that I don't know, pray for my friend who's sick, pray for, hey, Paul Kimmich, please pray for so-and-so who's sick, please pray for me because I'm having surgery, all that stuff. And so I always respond with, well, can I do anything? What do you need? And usually it's something like, yeah, we actually, could anybody like bring us dinner on Friday night and I'll have, and I'm like, okay, I can't get out tomorrow, but give me a restaurant and I'll have dinner delivered, and I did that recently. I'm not touting my own fucking virtue here, okay? I'm just trying to say that like when they ask for prayers and shit, I ask what can I do? And then if I can do anything, I do something. I can't always do something, My sister lives hundreds of miles away. She had a friend hundreds of miles away who was having medical issues. I couldn't help with that. But I could order dinner for somebody in my family who just had surgery. That was okay. That was doable. And their kids and stuff, so that nobody had to cook. And then and this is after, just to establish a timeline, it's after the horrible thing that my father said, and it's after me going on the same family chat. And I mean, I worded this so carefully, y'all. I went full Rogerian argument. Look that up if you don't know what it is, but it's Roger IAN. And if you're from the UK, no, it has nothing to do with sex. There was a psychiatric or I'm sorry, a psychological practice of that started in marriage counseling. And it was sort of just a way to make an argument where you start with common ground. So instead of starting with a difference, like in a traditional debate, you start with, okay, let's find where the common ground is, and then we'll see where, we split off and don't have common ground, and then we'll try and get back. So it's a very, it's a way of allowing people, it's a way of empathizing, basically. It's a way of saying, like, I understand. So, why you have a problem with this, essentially. So, if you have paid any attention to anything going on in the U.S., we're very much in danger of losing our right to abortion in this country, and reproductive rights are in jeopardy for everyone with a uterus, and it's terrifying. It's absolutely terrifying. And so I talked about in this. I also had to make it brief because it was in a text. I didn't want to make it too long to where people wouldn't really read it. So I just said, I understand that most of you in here are pro-life. I understand why. I understand that your religion teaches you that life begins at conception, and it's fine to believe that. That's fine. But, and then I didn't say but I went on to talk about, but what about women like me? And I just, because again, Rogerian argument, I was like, I didn't want to use the obvious, I didn't say, what about rape and incest victims? I didn't want to bring that hammer down. I just said, like, here's the thing. Pregnancy could seriously endanger my life, especially at this point in my life. And I explained the reasons why. And it involves some of the medications that I take. It involves my age. It involves some health conditions that I have. So I'm telling them my family of origin, my blood family, that, that this could kill me, and not having this option could kill me. And I just said, just please, even if it's done with a heavy heart, I understand that, but just please think about people like me when you vote in the primaries. And that was all I said. And I didn't bring it up again. And then that was on a Friday, and the following Monday, one of my sister-in-laws wrote a gigantic text message that urged me and my spouse to use biblical discipline, to seriously consider celibacy. Okay, first of all, bitch, I did not get married to be celibate. Fuck that shit. Sorry. And she went on and on and on and on and on and on. Well, two of my aunts texted me privately after I put the original message up, thanking me for standing up for women's rights. And they said they wanted to say something in the family chat, but they thought that it just would fall on deaf ears, so they didn't. And oh yeah. I've seen this person Nevermore, but I'm going to put it up on the screen. Yeah, that's fantastic. Yeah, it's a good thing. Thank you. And so my aunts are like, they're with me on this, and I figured they would be. My sister-in-law, not so much. My other sister-in-law, no, She and my sister are all amen, 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 preach, you know? Like it's any of their goddamn business what happens between my thighs, right? Like it's no one's business except for mine and junk shops. That's it. Full stop. Fuck off. Go fuck yourself. Or don't if you think that's a sin, but move out and away from my uterus and my vagina, please. Jesus Christ. I mean, and these are my sisters, my literal sisters. And yeah, thank you. There are so many, and the thing is, I don't need to know your reason. I mean, I've got the book, Shout Your Abortion, and it's an amazing book, and I heartily recommend it. We need to take the shame off of abortion. You don't need a reason to have an abortion. You just need an abortion. That's it. Your reason is none of my business. It's medical care. It's medical care that you need. And yes, Sandy, excellent point. And I will also say that there was a time in my 20s when I thought that I might want to be a mother, but the person then would have been an absolutely horrible father and also was a terrible husband, and I did not want to be tied to him for the rest of my life. I know, Dr. Osiris. America is crazy, especially yeah, tell me about it. But so when my dad is saying, yeah, maybe we should just, execute all the gays, and my sister is writing me a letter telling me that we all deserve hell and all have the sin nature because she found out I was an atheist. And then on a chat that includes our entire family, my sister-in-law gets all up in my vag with her religion. And my other sister-in-law is like, amen. And my sister says, amen. I just feel so alone and betrayed and clearly, I'm sorry, I'm getting emotional, but clearly they love Jesus more than they love me. And frankly, I find that a little fucked up. Because at least they've met me. They know that I'm real. I act in a positive way in their lives all the time. But when they said grace for that dinner that I sent over, they didn't say thank you to me. They did. They did send me thank you. They were not rude, but they were grateful. I'm not saying that was a bad example. I'm sorry. I was trying to get to the whole thanking God all the time when it's really people doing things. And y'all, I think I'm done. Thank you, Critical Cripple. Hug you back. Thank you, Sandy. yeah, they thanked God first, exactly. And it's just, thank you. Thank you. And where I live, I mean, I'm sure this is true in so many places, but in the southern United States, family it's fucking everything. There is so much pressure. There's so much pressure. While at the same time, I've known people who've been kicked out of their house as young people because they weren't the person their parents were expecting when they grew up. I mean, do those of you who are our parents in the chat, I mean, well, I doubt you expected any of this, but I think my parents thought we'd all be carbon copies of them or something. I don't know. I don't know what they thought. But they got very upset when any of us had our own ideas about anything, and that was true with all of us. Even the ones I was just complaining about as much as with me. That was true for all of us. Um, sorry, something in the chat made me laugh. Okay. Wow. So I haven't even. I wasn't going to talk about this, and that's what came out. That's why, guys. This is why I haven't done a stream. Honestly, in the last 6 weeks, I haven't done a stream. I know I haven't done many streams in the past year and a half. I said that at the top of the show, but the reason I haven't done one specifically in recent weeks is because I was afraid that I'd just end up spilling all of this to you guys because I haven't found a new therapist yet. And yep, I did. So thank you for being my free and kind therapist. Oh gosh. My pro-lifer aunt kicked out her teenage daughter because she got pregnant. Oh, honey, I'm so sorry. Yeah. No, you guys chat all you want. That's fine. I love you guys. I said we. I love you guys. Um, yeah, that's horrible. I actually that'll be $100. Yeah, I'll PayPal that to you right away. Wondering. Yeah. So I don't know. BetterHelp.com. I don't know. Don't listen to recommendations from me. I need to research some things. Yeah, I actually tried a therapist from BetterHelp, and I don't think this is against all of BetterHelp, but she didn't show up for 2 of our sessions. And I had this rule back when I was dating, where if someone didn't, if the person I'd had some dates with didn't return a phone call of mine, if I called them twice and I didn't get a call back, I was like, okay, they're just not into me, and I'd move on. Like, what's the and I guess I still have the same rule, because when she didn't show up for session number 2 and I got no explanation, no answer, nothing, I was like, well, I hope she's well and alive, but moving on. Oh, wow. So the mom still, after 16 years, doesn't seem to understand that was fucked up. Yeah. It's like, I'm going to throw you out of the house for being pregnant when you're still a baby yourself. It's like that is, ugh. I'm sus of online therapists. Yeah, Sandy, I know. I am a little bit too. It weirds me. I mean, I had one great one. If you want a great relationship therapist that you can actually chat with, it's oh, hang on, I'll think of his name in a second. God damn it, he's the guy on secular sexuality on the Texas. Oy. Okay, I'm sorry, my brain is not working today. Christy on secular sexuality on Thursday nights at 7. He actually has a practice in Texas, and he's great. He is a great. There's at one point during the pandemic, JSL is not going to like that I talked about this publicly because they're very private. I'm not going to say why we went to do this, but it's not that we were having major problems or anything. We had some stuff that I was like, I think I think it would be healthy because it was during the heart of lockdown, right? And I was like, I think we might need, we keep it's, I feel like we're talking in circles. Would you be okay with bringing with us just seeing a couples therapist, with the goal of, keeping us together and figuring out why we keep talking in circles about this same problem? And they were like, absolutely, let's do it. And we'd seen Christy on the show, we liked him, so we all of his links are in the show notes, so we went to, through his practice through which he's employed. We saw him for a while, and then we got to a point where he was like, I think you guys are good to go. I really, I don't, please, I mean, let me know if you need anything in the future. I'm here for you. But I think this issue, I think we've put it to bed. I think, and he was right. Like, we were on the same page. Everybody was good, and everything's fine. And yeah, thank you, Nevermore. Everyone does need a therapist. And if you, and I'm just gonna throw this out there again, total layperson, somebody, yeah, somebody who is not a professional in any way, shape, or form. But if you're in a relationship or in ships, however, whatever your situation is, if you have a partner and you're having trouble when your partner, don't wait. Don't wait until somebody's about to leave to go to therapy. Go to therapy when things are a little weird. Go then. That would be my advice. I mean, if you want to stay together, you know, but if you wait until one of you is already like mentally out of the relationship and about to walk out the door, there's no point, and it's just a waste of money. So, um, yeah, you can absolutely talk to friends too, Dr. Osiris. Um, it's hard on some of my friends though, because, you know, especially when you're talking about family, and especially if they're old friends of mine, because, they remember my parents as, oh, your parents were awesome. That was the house we all hung out at, and we were safe, and they just, they'd let us hang out, and they didn't micromanage our activities. They just, because my parents, they were just like, they liked it when our friends, my older siblings and myself, they liked it when they made all of our friends very welcome, because if because then they knew where we were, right? And they were like, well, hey, if they're here, if anything bad happens, we're right here. We'll go into our bedroom. We've got a TV. We'll hang out back there. They can have the rest of the house, but we're here if anything goes down, and we know they're safe. And it was just a big, peace of mind thing for them. But it worked out. And yeah, Sandy, family does have a way of dragging you back in rather. And I mean, some of my nieces and nephews, actually all of them, I love them all so much. Well, yeah, that was, sorry, there was a different thought with the some of them. I love them all. Damn it. I love all of you guys. You know that. But some of them have had issues with their parents, and I'm like, I feel you. It's so hard. All right, so enough about that. Here's what the actual stream was going to be about. How long? We've been going for almost 40 minutes, and I'm only just now getting to the point. Is anyone shocked? I'm not. Okay, so, oh, thank you. Thank you, Dr. Osiris. Thank you. Yeah. Microraptor! Hey! I just talked about a lot of family stuff, and I cried a little bit. So just feel free to go back and rewatch if you want. This is a public video for a reason. Okay, so I don't know why, but I have two wonderful stalwart patrons left. I don't know why. Thank you to them. Um, I it, I don't, but I feel guilty. I feel horribly guilty because I am not putting out content. this is why this whole conversation started with work is a lot for me, and it is. I work more than 40 hours a week. It's a lot. So I am taking down. I'm not taking down my Patreon page because because I follow a lot of people, and there are some podcasts that I very much love supporting, and there's some of you folks I love supporting, and I support as much as I can whom I can, especially artists. But yeah, I feel bad, and I don't want anyone's money. I'm not getting rid of my channel. I will still do this when I can. Thank you, Sandy. I will, and I have, but I just, yeah, I feel bad now. So this way, when I can stream, I can stream, and when I can't, I won't. But I'll be in good conscience about it, if that makes sense. So there we go. That's where we are with that. Yeah. So thank you. You know who you are. You're amazing, and thank you. I'm not naming them specifically, and it's because of who one of them is, and it's for a good reason. It's a privacy issue, so I'm not trying to be cagey or anything. Otherwise, I'd say their names. Go babysit. Go. Bye, Nevermore. I hope breakfast was good. Yeah, I'm about to sign off. You won't miss much. So yeah, that was the main thing I came on here to talk about, and then I ended up talking about my family and crying. So yeah. Hang on, this is adorable. Late to the point means I'm technically early. Okay, fair. Oh, I love y'all so much. Okay. Well, y'all have a great day. Have a beautiful weekend. Oh, did I finish the thought about the federal holiday? Yeah, it was Juneteenth. We finally got off for Juneteenth, which, if you don't know, is because I didn't know, my ignorant white ass didn't know for a long time. I learned this, gosh, I think I learned this because of the Black Lives Matter movement. And I was a history minor. You know how many classes I had to take on the Civil War, and we were never taught this? So frustrating. How many times did I have to read about Antietam, which is so fucking depressing, and they didn't teach me this, which is also depressing in a way, but also amazing. I always suspected this, actually, because of just the way that the communication would have worked in the mid 19th century in the States. I always wondered how many chattel slaves were still being kept in bondage post the Emancipation Proclamation, which only freed slaves in the southern states, FYI. It only freed slaves in states that had gone Confederate. Okay, so traitor states, essentially, which is another. Whoo. Oh, I'm sorry, Microraptor. Hi. I was saying I was off work yesterday because of a relatively new federal holiday. This is the second year in a row that the United States is supporting or is celebrating Juneteenth, also known as June 14th. But let me explain. I'm explaining right now. So the U.S. had a civil war to keep the Union together. A bunch of southern states seceded from the Union because of slavery. They wanted to keep chattel slavery. They wanted to keep Black people as property because that was their economy base, and it was an evil practice that they justified by a lot of racism. So anyway, as the abolitionist movement and the Underground Railroad, trying to get slaves out of the South, as all of these things gained more and more momentum, and the country became more and more polarized on this issue, a bunch of southern states seceded from the Union and formed their own government called the United Confederate States of America. And their goal was to have their own country where slavery was legal, and there would just be two countries instead of one. The president at the time was Abraham Lincoln. He was not particularly. Lincoln is painted as, the great emancipator, the president who freed the slaves. Da 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 da. He wasn't super. It's not like he was not a huge abolitionist. That was one thing that basically he said, and I'm paraphrasing, but he said, I will do anything to keep the Union together, whether that involves legalizing slavery or not. So, you just needed Juneteenth explained. You know about the Civil War. Sorry, Microraptor. I went into teacher mode. Any hoozlebees. So, bloop, 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 bloop. Moving on. Yeah, exactly, Sandy. He wasn't in full support of it all. And he was forced to do that. Okay, well, thank you. I will look closer at Lincoln. Thank you, Sandy. So, okay, let it be noted that I need to do more research about Lincoln. All right. Check your sources, read your history. Okay, so Juneteenth, Microraptor, is roughly 2 years, I want to say, after the war ended. I believe it was some soldiers, I think it was soldiers, came across a plantation somewhere in the Deep South where the white people there were still keeping slaves, and the slaves didn't know. They didn't know they were free by law, by federal law. Their master, shocker, shocker, had never told them. And, since it was illegal in much of the South and most of the southern states and some of the northern states for slaves to be taught to read, it's not like they had access to newspapers or, anything like that. So, yeah. That's a good point too, Sandy. Yeah. He being Lincoln couldn't very well support a split. No, he could not. Yeah. He needed to keep the Union together. And I'm very glad that he did. I would, for lots of reasons, but I'm not going to get into it because that deals with alternate timelines. Okay. So this Juneteenth was when the last slaves in the United States were finally free. So that's really cool. That is really cool. And it's something that should have been a federal holiday more than 100 years ago. And it just happened last year. I think it was Texas too, Ring, but I didn't want to say it because I'm not sure. But that's what I'm remembering. But it's been a while. It's been a long time, you guys, since I had to take a class on the Civil War. Like I got my bachelor's 22 years ago, so it's been a minute. All right, so that's why. So yay! So happy Juneteenth. It's about damn time. I imagine I'm interested to see how this unfolds in terms of celebration because, like, for example, my company is based out of California. And so we got a 3-day weekend. We got Friday off for Juneteenth. And JSL's company is based in Tennessee, and they did not get yesterday off. They had to work all day. And again, that's kind of how federal holidays work, unless you work at the bank or for the government, like the post office or something like that. Google says Texas. Thank you, wondering. So it's an interesting thing. It really kind of depends on your company's policies. I'm very happy. And yeah, Microraptor, better late than never, for sure. I mean, I guess, yeah. It's like It's like, yeah, better late than never. We're finally going to recognize this. Um, so, I mean, it's civil rights in this country have always been. Oh, and it's June 19th, not June 14th. Thank you, One Ring. Keeping me honest up in here. I appreciate it. I really do. Thank you. Why did I think it was the 14th? I don't know why I thought it was the 14th. Doesn't matter. 19th makes more sense. It makes more sense now because I was like wondering why did we get Friday off and not Monday? Like, okay. Yep. Okay. So, all right. So we are. That's all I've got for you. New federal holiday. It's kind of awesome. I'm thinking it's probably going to become one of those like weird barbecue holidays. Where you get together with people and eat. I really want to see what the black community, especially the black community where I am, does with this holiday because I, you know, like I'm not gonna like, I, I think I'm hoping that they'll lead the way and like, okay, here's how we're gonna, support this. Here's how we're gonna celebrate this. I mean, they will lead the way. Sorry, because I mean, I'm not gonna white girl explain a holiday to them, um, or how they should celebrate it. I mean, all right, so that's it. I hope you all have a beautiful day and a beautiful weekend. And you know what? Yeah, Sandy, I was told the same thing. And it, yeah, I don't agree. Um, but that's okay. All right. So yeah, everybody be safe. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Happy Juneteenth, absolutely. And love from Memphis, y'all.